Case number 324 on the calendar in the matter of Saunders versus Gershonoff. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Sir, have a seat, please.
Ms. Saunders, the defendant used to be a friend of yours, such a good friend that she gave you a credit card with her name on it for you to use.
Actually, the credit card she kept, I charged on it.
You used the credit card?
Yes,
and you
I
did it for a couple of years?
Yes, I did.
According to your complaint, there came a time when there was some question about whether or not that bill had been paid off. Mm-hmm. And you claimed that the defendant came over to your house and assaulted you, beat you up.
Yes, she did.
And you are suing for the injuries that you sustained as a result of that assault. Why did you let her charge on your credit card?
Because she doesn't have good credit, and she has 3 kids, and I've been in her children's life since they've been born, and I wanted to help her out with stuff that she needed.
And did you charge on that credit card as well?
I did charge on an accident a couple items, but I had paid it, and I have documentation that I had paid the amount that I had accidentally charged 1 month.
Only that one time?
Yes.
Other than that, the only charges on this credit card were Ms. Saunders?
Correct.
And was that your agreement with her, so that you'd keep things separate?
There really wasn't an agreement. I should say there wasn't really an agreement, but that's just how I had it. I have another credit card that's for another girlfriend of mine. She uses that credit card solely just for her purchases also.
Why?
Because I'm a nice person. I like to help people out. And
all right. Now let me hear about this assault, because that's really what brought you here.
Okay.
When did that take place?
That took place on September 5th of 2003.
Tell me what happened.
The defendant came to my house. She knocked on the door. My daughter opens the door. My 9-year-old opens the door. And she proceeds to tell my daughter to go get your mother. I'm in my room, which isn't too far away from the front door, so I'm hearing the whole conversation. My daughter tells her to come back later because the defendant's witness was in the car, who is my ex-boyfriend, and I didn't want him on my property or in the vicinity of me. So she says, no, I don't want to come back later. Tell your mother I want to see her right now. Tell her to give me my $85.
You knew what she was there for?
Yes, I do. Oh, I do know what she was there for, but I didn't know that it was going to...
But you knew what she was there for?
Yes,
How did you know what she was there for?
Because I got numerous calls from her and a friend of ours.
Why did you stop making payments on the bill?
Because of the fact that I've asked on numerous occasions, once back in December of 2002 for the itemized statement. Again, in May or June of 2003, I asked for an itemized statement. And then again, in September, I asked for an itemized statement because I wanted to make sure that they were all mine, which they were. So I decided not to make the payment because of the fact that she wasn't coming through with the itemized statements.
How many months hadn't you made a payment?
Just that 1 month, September.
Okay, fine. And how much do you still owe the defendant on the credit card?
I owe what it is that she says, the $900 and some odd.
$932. Did you, in fact, go over each item on the bill?
Yes, I did.
And you acknowledge that those are all your bills?
Yes.
And the finance charges attached to your expenditures?
Yes.
Fine, so we've taken care of the counterclaim. $932 on your side. Go ahead. So now you're talking back and forth at the door through your 9-year-old.
Okay. So then my 9-year-old goes outside, and I'd say within 3 to 5 minutes, Rachel comes into the house. Rachel comes into my room and says, give me my money. Give me my effing money. So I said, get out, you know. I don't want you here. Get out of my house. She starts pushing me, and she pushes me back down onto the bed. I'm sitting on the bed, and she says to me, do you want me to beat your A? You know, and I'm like, are you threatening me? And she's like, do you want me to beat your butt? And I'm like, you know what? I don't want you here. I'm calling 911. She then snatches the phone out of my hand and then jumps on me on the bed. So I kick her off, and then we get up, and I'm trying to reach for my phone. And as I'm reaching for my phone, she grabbed me by the arm, and she left a bruise on my arm. And she again then pushes me back down onto the bed, face first. She punches me with her fist in my head. She had all her rings on, and I had an orange bruise on my head from that. So I again ask Rachel to leave. I tell her to get off of me and get the hell out of my house. So she then pushes me around the room a couple more times and then pushes me over by the window, and the kids are outside playing. And I scream out the bedroom window, someone call 911.
Okay, then she left?
And then she left because I had finally screamed out the window for someone to call 911.
The police arrived that day?
45 minutes later.
You have a report?
Yes, I do.
I'd like to see it. Okay, start talking. You went over to the house on September 5th.
And I brought her the credit card statements, went to the door, pretty much exactly what she said. I went to the door, knocked on the door, and I asked, is your mother home? Can I speak to your mother? She said, no, she's in the bed. She doesn't want to talk to you. And I said, well, I brought her credit card statements. She asked for credit card statements. I brought her the statements. I would like my payment. And she went back in there, and she said, my mom says that she doesn't want to talk to you. She's sick. She doesn't want to come in there. And I said to Susie, I said, I want to give you these statements. I'm not going to leave.
You said to her or you yelled to her?
I yelled to her. I said, Susie, I said, you need to come out and talk to me. You want these statements? I need the payment. The payment's going to be late. It's a $35 late fee. I want the payment. You told me once you got your welfare check that you were going to pay it. And she didn't. So I told her, I said, I'm going to step in, hand you the payments, and I'm going to leave. And she didn't say anything to me. She didn't answer me or anything. Went to give her the statement. She told me to get the F out of her house, and I left.
Okay. What other paperwork do you have?
I have the restraining orders.
Let me see them, please.
This is the first one that I filed, and this is the extension.
Anything else there?
This is from the hospital.
I'd like to see it. What happened with the result of you filing this protective order? Was there a final order issued?
It's out for 3 years. The extension is for 3 years.
Okay. Ms. Kirchhoff, do you recall going to court on or about the 25th of September?
I do.
And did you see a judge at that time?
Yes, I did.
Were you represented by counsel?
Nope.
So you didn't think you needed a lawyer?
No.
Okay. Now, did you or did you not have a trial?
No.
If you did not have a trial, then you consented to the entry of a protective order.
Yes.
Well, you understand that by consenting to the entry of a protective order, it is a statement that you could not meet the charges against you were she to proceed to trial. Do you understand that? So that in effect you're saying, I am guilty. You understand that?
Yes.
Now, the plaintiff sought medical treatment. The medical report indicates that she had bruising. The medical report indicates she was provided a prescription painkiller for both her head and the bruising that she had. And you, in effect, pled guilty by consenting to an order of protection. What do you think I'm supposed to make of that?
I tried to explain my story of reason why I went over there. When I told him the reason why I went over there, that nothing happened, I went there because I wanted to give her credit card statements. He pretty much shushed me up and told me that this needs to go to small claims court. This is not to be taken care of in here. And I just said, okay, whatever, fine, I'll do whatever.
Okay, whatever, fine.
I didn't
now
say
you're
that,
playing
but-
stupid?
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
There are a lot of other people she could have taken over to be a witness. She didn't have to take you when you're an irritant.
There was never a problem between us.
I'm not speaking to you anymore.
Cool.
And later today,
She became verbally abusive again and told me that she was going to take everything she could from me because I had not been the kind of mother I should have been to her.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Susie Saunders claims former friend Rachel Gershinoff forced her way into her house and beat her up. Rachel admits she entered Susie's home, but claims there was no assault.
You understood exactly why you were going to court. That was not a civil proceeding, that was a criminal proceeding.
All it was a restraining. If she wants to get a restraining order against me not to see her, that's fine. I don't want to see her anyway. What is that going to do to me? There's nothing.
I'm going to tell you what it has to do with you. If you violate a restraining order, you can go to jail for an extended period of time if there is a restraining order because it's a contempt. Even if she decides not to press charges. Police officer sees you within a certain number of feet from her, police officer can arrest you, and you have absolutely no defense. Absolutely none. It's a restraining order. It lists what you can, what you cannot do. That's a difference. And I believe that you understand that. I believe that you understood that when you went there, you had the ability to have a trial. You wanted to tell your story. Say, I want a trial. I'm not guilty of anything. She says I'm guilty of beating her up. I never laid a hand on her. Why in the world would I consent to her having this order of protection till 2006? I'm not guilty. And you tell your story, you say, I want a trial. You chose not to do that.
That was a mistake on my part.
Big time. You want to know why you chose not to do that? Because you hit her. That's why you chose not to do it. You were frustrated because what she did was wrong. She's talking through her 9-year-old. She's telling her friend, get out of here, I don't want to see you. It was wrong of you to bring him over to the house.
He's my roommate.
She had no idea I was even there.
Just a second. Maybe she looked out of a window. Maybe her 9-year-old told her. How do you know? And what I'm saying is, there are a lot of other people she could have taken over to be a witness. She didn't have to take you when you're an irritant.
There was never a problem between us.
I'm not speaking to you anymore.
Cool.
You assaulted her. You have no right to assault her. You have no right to cause her injury. She owed you money. She should have paid you. And she shouldn't have been obnoxious and said, come back another time. I absolutely agree with you. You had no right to put your hands on her. You had no right to injure her. She's suing you for $5,000. Is that right?
Correct.
I want to know how many days you missed of work.
I don't work.
Why don't you work?
Because I'm a homemaker.
How many children do you have?
3.
How old are they?
6, 8, and 9.
They all go to school.
Yes, they do.
Well, what are you doing there in school?
I am at home. My boyfriend works.
Does he live with you?
No. He helps with my finances and helps me pay my bills.
Does the state also help you pay your bills?
Yes, they do.
So you're on welfare.
Yes, I am.
Why don't you get a job?
Because I'm currently in with a psychiatrist right now. I'm going to be applying for SSI.
What's the nature of your disability?
Severe depression and social anxiety.
Judgment for the plaintiff for the damages as a result of the assault. You didn't have any lost wages or anything else, so this is just pain and suffering. $2,500. Judgment for the plaintiff. That's all.
Thank you.
Parties are excused.
Steve, I don't understand what's going on. What are you saying?
You haven't figured it out by now? Herobrine was my creation. Every attack, every life lost to Herobrine. That was all me.
That can't be true. Why would you do that? Why would you make Herobrine?
I never had the luxury of being a skilled player. I was always bullied for never being a good enough fighter or never being a talented builder. I was the loser. But I had something other players didn't have. I had intelligence. I knew that if I saved lives, people would look up to me as a hero. And what better way to save people than by creating the danger? So that's when I made Herobrine.